Trae. Come on, it's the day with Trae. Trae with Trae. With Trae. Come on, it's the day with Trae. Trae with Trae. With Trae. Come on, it's the day with Trae.
Pump it up, pump it up.
Trae.
Come on, come on.
With Trae.
Pump it up, pump it up.
It's the day with Trae.
This is the day to gain inspiration, to make a positive change in the nation. We're inviting you to partake in conversation, to raise your vibration. It's the day that we will all celebrate all of our peeps that make this thing elevate. Watch the negative fade away, cause it's the day with Trae.
Grand Rising, everyone. Welcome to the Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. I want to welcome you to a thankful Thursday, and I'm truly thankful for this person, for all they pour into all of the work that they do. Nikkita Oliver is joining me, y'all. We're going to be doing a deep dive on creative justice and the Creative Cafe. There's some updates here that they're here to make sure we know all about, so I'm excited that they are here joining me in the Black Media Matter studios. But of course, as you know, it is the top of the show, so it's a perfect time to tag and share this stream right here. Go ahead and participate in our growth, y'all. Share the stream with those who you feel could benefit from a daily dose of dopeness right here on the Day with Trae. If you can't watch our show, don't trip. We got you covered. You can also listen to us anywhere you find your favorite podcast. Just search Converge Media Network in the Day with Trae. You'll find me on whichever platform is your favorite. Hey, there's like 200 of them. We're on all of them. Go ahead and search for us and you will find us there. Shout out to our podcast team for making sure our audio is crisp for all you podcast listeners out there in the ethos. And also kudos to everyone who is listening. We are getting reports that we are all the way in Australia and all the way in other countries. I'm just grateful, y'all. So thank you so much for finding some value in all the hard work we're pouring here on the Day with Trae. But y'all know, before I get into it with Nikkita, I want to send a message here about how we show our gratitude. What is thankfulness? What does it mean to you? I think oftentimes we look at the Thanksgiving kind of holiday as a time to really dive into that thankfulness, but I'm going to encourage you to do that as much as you possibly can. You know, and I'll share something with you. One of the ways that I do this is anytime someone pops in my head, I'll just text them because I'm like, hey, something is telling me to just let you know you are on my mind. I'm sending you love. I'm sending you positive energy. And it's a simple thing that I do, but I have realized over the last several years how impactful and effective it is, because you never know what someone's going through. And if you are someone who finds yourself getting that kind of download, getting those kinds of messages to like, hey, wait a minute, I haven't chopped it up with this person in a minute, or, you know, maybe I've never even sat down for lunch with them, but they're on my mind and I got their number and I'm going to send them some love. You know, there's something special about receiving that love. And I can also say on the other side of it, I have been able to receive that kind of love where folks are like, hey, you're doing great, just checking in on you. Hey, just letting you know, hand claps, keep going, right? Like these kinds of short, simple messages from the heart really can have a profound impact. And it's one of the ways that you get to show your gratitude to those who are really doing something that is inspiring you. And y'all know, here on the Day with Trae, inspiration is kind of my base for this entire endeavor here. You know, how do I help to highlight those who are doing inspiring work? How do I help to inspire you to be a part of the solution? And one of those things that I have to be mindful of and be really mindful of for myself is, how do I accept and receive that level of inspiration that I'm giving to others, which is sometimes the hardest part for me. So I just want to say that I'm really thankful to those who have poured into me, who continue to pour into me on this Thankful Thursday. And I want to encourage you to tap in to those who are pouring into you, those who you're inspired by. Even if you don't know them and you maybe just follow them on social media, you send them a DM. Let them know how their work is impacting you. You never know how that message may resonate with them, how it may get them through the day. You just never know. And I promise you never will know if you never do it. So that's my message today, or on this Thankful Thursday. Let's find our ways to continue our gratitude in ways that could be profound for others. Well, after this short break, I get to talk to someone who is very profound for others. Nikkita Oliver is coming up next, y'all. I'm really excited to talk to them. They are continuing to pour into great efforts, and I can't wait to dive into those details right after this short break. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
Seattle really is just a big neighborhood. It was a place for us to grow.
We all have a gift of some sort. It's just my vision of what I see.
Theater allows you to hit harder and be more. There's a sense of hope that your story will survive longer than you will.
Stream on the Cascade PBS app or watch live. Fridays at 8:50 p.m. on Cascade PBS. Learn more at blackartslegacies.com.
Big Tobacco thinks they know everything. They think they know you, your community, the places you go, the way that you spend your time. They think they got you all figured out, down to a formula, a calculation based off of numbers of what they think they know. Show them they're wrong. Learn more at theythinktheyknowyou.org.
Disenrollment is a situation whereby people whose birthright to be indigenous is being stolen from them by politicians that have been elected to lead.
Today, the latest or last chapter of the saga concerns the threatened physical ejectment of as many as 21 Nooksack families from their homes.
I think it come about by hatred for our family. That's what it's all about.
Our bloodline is still here. You know, they can't get rid of us.
Welcome back, everyone, to The Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. On this thankful Thursday, I'm excited and grateful because Nikkita Oliver's joining me. What's up, Nikkita?
What's up, fam? Thank you so much for having me today.
On this thankful Thursday, it's so fitting. I'm so grateful for you and for what you continue to do. And I think that there's so many folks who don't understand how sometimes it's late hours, it's late night phone calls, it's weekends, it is, stopping other things that were priorities for you and doing something else because the need is there and the need is great. But Creative Justice is one of those amazing institutions we have in our community that continues to give in that regard. For those who may not know, tell us a bit about Creative Justice.
Absolutely. First of all, I also want to say I'm thankful for you, just the way that you continue to bring folks together, tell inspiring stories, and uplift the work that is happening in communities. Sometimes people that would never have an opportunity to have a platform to share their work. So I want to honor you on this Thankful Thursday as well. Creative Justice is an arts-based, healing, engaged space for youth and young adults. In particular, those that are impacted by the school-to-prison pipeline in King County, Pierce County, and sometimes young people from Snohomish County. Our biggest focus is creating and facilitating spaces where young people can practice their self-determination. They can think about their own creativity. They can explore their power to manifest the future they want to live in. We also know that for so many young people, it's not just them doing that individual work, it's also the conditions and the systems around them, the things that they're living in. And so providing spaces that as young people are doing really key healing and accountability work through arts-based projects, that we're also speaking truth to power, that young people have the opportunity to influence legislation, influence budgets, speak about the things that they want to see in their neighborhoods that would help them have the opportunity to live truly fulfilling lives the way that their hearts and their minds and their spirits see.
Yeah, this is really important because I really think Creative Justice was one of the first institutions that I realized was so led by the young folks, and really like putting them in position, say, hey, y'all are leading, there's something really special about your the way you see this going, shaping the work that y'all do, but also this level of civic engagement and leadership in their communities, which I appreciate so much because we don't have enough institutions that are gearing folks up to be the leaders of their cities, of their communities. And so that's really important too. When you think about some of the things, because you've been doing this work for some time now, and a lot of folks know you here and beyond. Tell us about some of those things that keep you inspired in this work.
Yeah, so really going back to that youth-driven piece, there isn't a single program at Creative Justice that we developed because I or another staff member dreamed it up. It is literally because young people will come to us and say, the next thing I think Creative Justice needs to do is XYZ. a few examples of that is we started a restitution relief fund a few years back. A lot of people don't know, but your juvenile record is not sealed if your juvenile restitution is not paid. This is a bit of a catch-22 for young people, right? They may not be able to access jobs. They have to be at school during the day. Maybe their families can't afford to pay the restitution. And so if you reach 18 and your record's not sealed and you try to get a job or an apartment or go to school, your juvenile record might actually keep you from doing these things that are really important to your thriving. And so we had a young person, had not been in trouble since the age of 14, had really started to build themselves into more positive, healthy habits, deeply involved in creative justice, and they got a job at a local tech space to work as security. They ran their background check, their juvenile record was not sealed, and they withdrew that job offer. And not long after that, the young person had to make some really hard choices about how they would make money. And unfortunately, those choices put them back into the criminal punishment system. And what that young person said was, if y'all had a way to just help young people pay their juvenile restitution, that would allow young people like me to be able to move forward without this rope around our neck. And so we partnered with other folks in community to bring in the resources to match folks up to actually pay young people's juvenile restitution. And the beauty is that young person's story did not stop with being in Washington State DOC. They put in a lot of hard work, and when they were released, they came back to creative justice. They were a part of our HEAL circles, which are arts-based healing accountability circles. And they're now a fellow with creative justice, a full-time benefited fellow working in our HEAL circles, supporting other young people. They're doing incredible. They're going to get married. They're having a baby. And so it is those stories that help me stay engaged. When young people speak their truth and they let us know what they need, and then we're able to come full circle back to a place where a young person is actually healthier because we responded to that need and that leadership. And that is the philosophy that we operate in with every single program we've developed. A young person or young adult has said, this is the next thing that I need to see you all doing because it'll benefit me and my peers.
First off, I am trying to hold it together because that's the kind of stuff that I love about our community, right? Like, I mean, I talk to folks all over the place, and I love talking to the elders who have been all over the world, and they're just like, there's nothing like the Seattle community and how we pour into each other. Mm-hmm. And that is such a phenomenal example of what we can do when we're led by those who are the most 100. Impacted. Like that, you don't even know how that just blessed me. So thank you. Mm-hmm. And thank you to that young person for speaking up for themselves. Yes. I think also too, it's about creating the space where they know if they share, mm-hmm. something will be done about that. Tell us about how, you and others have really worked to curate creative justice in that regard. So they know, hey, no, this is the space where you can share that very vulnerable piece of yourself. And we're gonna hone it in, and we're going to do something about it.
Absolutely. And it's very much a team effort. So I just want to lift up our squad at Creative Justice. We have 17 full-time staff members, 33 folks across the org that are building alongside young people and their families. We don't build for them or on behalf of them. We build together because we are a community. It is a staff that is reflective of the young people that are in the program. They've been through the same things. They come from the same communities. They shop at the same grocery stores. So we're in community. We don't build on behalf of, we build together. And that is really the ethos of the work. And you use the word curate. I think that's so important that we think about this as curating, facilitating, cultivating a space. And it does go back to, again, being youth driven. So one of the most important policies I think we put in place as an org is we never do hiring without young people in the room. Too often our young folks, whether it's at school or after school programs or wherever they may go, they have no voice in who's working alongside them, who's writing the curriculum, who's determining the day-to-day. And so making sure young people are in the room from the jump. And they have in our organization, they have a weighted vote. So their vote counts more than mine in a hiring process. And there's a lot of discussion, and they get to hear those discussions. Like, what are the pros and cons of what this candidate for this role had to say? What are you looking for in this person? They help us generate the questions. They look at the resumes. And that is what has helped us curate a space where young people feel safe to share what they're going through, to honestly sometimes make their demands and know that someone will hear them because they actually selected that person to be in space with them, rather than the other way around is, they do the enrollment form and they don't even know who they might be around. So the space from how folks are selected to work there, to what programming is developed, to what we'll do next in the future is very much driven by the passions and visions of the young people.
I mean, when I think about goodness, every time I talk to you, I'm just like, wow, you know, and I know about the work y'all do, but every time there's another layer that you bring or that someone else brings. So we've had others from Creative Justice here that really is truly like remarkable in terms of creating a model. I mean, because that's what I think, you know, this model that y'all have garnered, created, cultivated is something that can be utilized in so many different realms and needs to be in so many different realms. I mean, when we think about the institutions that try to, you know, basically house those who find themselves in the midst of our criminal injustice system, you know, right? I love how you call it criminal punishment, right? At the end of the day, there's so much that they can learn, because when we think about rehabilitation, it really needs to come from those who are experiencing it. What is it that they need to be okay, to be well? So I just appreciate the work y'all are doing on such a literally an impactful level for me. Because when I think about what I've been experiencing recently with a lot of the young folks that I know, that I'm connected with, that find themselves in this gun violence, gangs, this, you know, we're gonna get together, shoot this person, and they're killing people, right? And I'm like, yo, I just sit back, like I was impacted recently, and I sat back and I was so grateful for my son who's 18, who like, they use similar language, you know, everything is brother, brother, right? And they talk about this in terms of like, that's just a Pacific Northwest, that's just a Washington thing or whatever. But the fact that my son, as an 18-year-old, he and his friends can get together and they play video games for the birthday parties. They're not out trying to like run up on somebody or call some. And I just thanked him the other day. I was just like, you know, thank you, because I think about parents who find themselves in that predicament, and I just, my heart goes out to them, because it's a tough place to be. So, you know, having safe spaces like Creative Justice is so important. But y'all also have the Creative Cafe. Now y'all got a whole, you know, business going on that they are running. I want to hear more about this cafe.
Again, young people saying what they want to see. So we're at Washington Hall on the first floor. We are collaboratively operating the first floor venue alongside Black Power Unlimited, formerly known as HIDMO. And what is really beautiful about this partnership is it allows us to have access to the whole first floor of Washington Hall when we're in programs. So young people can spread out, they can have their space. You know, part of what we're seeing when it comes to violence amongst our young people is we get smashed into these communities with little to no resources. And if you think about how hot molecules work, we're bouncing and rubbing up against each other with nowhere else to go. And so we strive in our space to create spaciousness, to create options, to create choicefulness. I really think our young people are in the situations they're in because of a lack of choicefulness or being able to see the choices in front of them. So a big part of, you know, what makes the space powerful is we lay that into how we build it. We want you to have room to be. And so before the pandemic, there was a cafe there. It shuttered during the pandemic, like so many of our businesses. And young people were like, yo, can we bring the cafe back? And can it be jobs for us? And I was like, yes, give me some time to figure that out. And so we partnered with Miss Piaf and Heidi Jackson and other folks at BPU to figure out what would need to happen to make that possible. And Fulcrum Roastery, the Station Cafe, all came alongside us and said, we will teach you the logistics. We will help you get the equipment. And if we can get it donated, we will get it donated. And so many community members came together to make this space possible. And we're doing it in the name of Rockwell Hopti, who built HIDMO over on 23rd in Jackson, one of the first all ages hip hop spaces, which was so important for violence intervention, that young people had safe spaces to go make music and be themselves and party and enjoy each other. That space was also, you know, a target often for institutions to try to shut it down, because we know what happens when Black joy is abundant. People are usually coming for it. So we're excited to be building a space that also centers Black joy, that centers Black and Indigenous artists. And does that in the Central District, where so many of us have been pushed out. We want to maintain a cultural home. And so a part of the cafe is also launching the Dripped monthly open mic. It'll be every third Sunday. You can get your cup of drip and you can get dripped off some music, spoken word, dance, whatever you want to bring. But it is about building a cultural center that maintains spaces for our young people to be who they are and be safe. And the other part of the cafe is we want our young people to go off into the world ready to interact with all these different kinds of institutions. So Daniel Bash, who's our cafe director, is building a labor rights curriculum, teaching young people how to assert and advocate when it is their labor that someone else is using and how to get treated the way that they should be. He's also working with them on understanding all the different ways within the coffee industry that they can have roles. That's roasting, fixing machines, being a barista, marketing, management. There's so many different jobs in the industry, and then there's so many places you can go. He has literally traveled the world as a barista, and he has promised the young people in the cafe he's going to teach them how to do that if that's what they dream of. And so when they finish this first cohort of cafe interns, we're also working with Moni Tep to make sure that we have a pipeline into immediate jobs for those youth. So if you own a cafe and you want young people from our cafe who I can tell you are some of the best trained, let us know. We want you to be a part of our pipeline of health and wellness and thriving for our young people.
I mean, it's so fitting for you to be here on this Thankful Thursday because there's so much of a need for what you're doing. I mean, we talk about these models all the time. Well, how do we disrupt gun violence? How do we disrupt school to prison pipeline? But creative justice is doing it in such a profound way. And, you know, I keep coming back to the models that you're creating, the models that your whole team is creating, and how we can all learn from those models. But, you know, this gives us something to pour ourselves into, definitely to come and support the cafe, support creative justice in that pipeline. If folks are out there like, man, I need to tap in, like I do got the resources. I need to make sure that I'm a part of this phenomenal effort and all the work y'all are doing. Please look right there. Let them know how they tap in.
Yes. So we would love for you to come through the cafe Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Washington Hall, 153 14th Avenue, right here in Seattle, right there in the Central District. Visit the cafe, buy a cup of coffee. That is the first and easiest way to support. We do have high-speed internet. Come through and work. We would also love for if you have a cafe that you want well-trained baristas to come in and work in a year and a half when we finish our first cohort, reach out to creativejusticenw@gmail.com and I will get you connected with our Fellowship and Opportunities Director, Moni Tep. And last but not least, come through our open mics on the third Sunday of every month. And I actually lied. I have one more way that you can contribute. Black Power Unlimited and Creative Justice running this venue together means that if you come and you rent our space, whether it's our large lodge space, the library, or our classroom, every aspect of your rental goes back into creative justice, ensuring that we can maintain this cultural institution in the Central District, maintain this cafe for young people, and a myriad of other arts, healing, and accountability programming that we run throughout the week.
Oh. What time is the Drip on Sundays?
It is going to start at 6 p.m. Doors open at 5:30 p.m. third Sunday of every month starting in May.
Oh, there we go. Nikkita Oliver, thank you so much for being with me. And thank you and your entire team for the love that you're pouring into our community. Because you can't do this work without the love. It is essential, really. You know, right? Like you have your own things that anchor, but I know the way that y'all are helping young people experience that love is so key and important. Thank you for being with me today.
Thank you. And if I could just say thank you to our incredible team at Creative Justice. Nothing we do would be possible without you and your commitment to our community and our young people.
100%. Thanks so much. Y'all, this is just like so inspiring for me. I'm going to wrap all of this up and hold it together right after this short break. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
Africatown Plaza is our latest affordable housing development project. It's 126 units of affordable housing over community commercial space.
It's the first time in my career, and I've been doing this for 10 years, that I was able to design for people who look like me.
Africatown Plaza is a beacon of hope.
Africatown Plaza is a love letter to the community.
The importance to share the history of the Buffalo Soldiers of Seattle and Buffalo Soldiers everywhere, including cowboys and cowgirls of color everywhere, is really important because most likely they're forgotten. It's important that they're acknowledged, especially for girls like me who look up to them.
At a rodeo, it's got an impact on people when they see somebody doing something like that, especially a person of color, you know what I mean? It's got a big impact on people, I think.
Representing the Evergreen State, I am your Miss Teen Rodeo Washington, Jessa Thomas. Welcome to the Windswept Farm.
Hello, welcome to Elite Insights with Carlos Imani. We're looking to offer an in-depth look at event production industry through the lens of client experiences and joint successes. The podcast will emphasize guest interviews, focusing on client discussing their fields and reflecting on their collaboration with Elite Collective. Again, you're with Elite Insights. Carlos Imani here. I'll see you guys in a few.
Welcome back, everyone, to The Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. I want to thank you for tuning in to this Thankful Thursday with Nikkita Oliver. Not only are they doing great work with their team over at Creative Justice, but providing an opportunity for us to tap in at the Creative Cafe right there at Washington Hall. Make sure you go there and get your phenomenal cup of coffee. As they said, you can also work there in the building with that high-speed internet, but it's about us supporting. If we can rent this space, if we can make sure that institutions like Creative Justice stay in our community, it's on us to make sure that we're supporting and pouring into these amazing efforts. Y'all know I'm beyond inspired. I mean, every time I get the opportunity to talk with Nikkita, I'm always like, whoa, like the stuff is phenomenal, but it's a model. It's something that we get to kind of sink our teeth into. How can we be exemplifying these efforts of loving on our people like Creative Justice is doing? How can we utilize our expertise in a way that pours back into our community? This is something for me that is so intriguing about what we have here in the city of Seattle and beyond. And the thing is that the Day with Trae is really dedicated to uplifting these phenomenal stories because, as we said, we know there's not many spaces where these kinds of stories get to be uplifted. But I want y'all to know there's so many more stories that we want to tell. So I'm encouraging you, if you know of a phenomenal organization, institution, someone, a person, an educational space, whatever it is that is giving you that level of inspiration in your community, please feel free to reach out to us at the Day with Trae at whereweconverge.com so that our team can pour in to you and the things that are actually inspiring you out there. The more stories we're able to tell, the more inspiration we're able to spill. So thank y'all so much for watching. Be inspired to find your way to be a part of the solution. And for me, y'all, until tomorrow at 11 a.m. Peace. Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.